Welcome to the Timely Tea Talks with me, the Reverend Dr. Lady Bishop. I decided to do my tea talks as a video blog. And all of you that haven't read the tea talks before we began this blog, you may want to go to ladybishop.org and scroll down to Timely Tea Talks, and there may be something there that interests you. First of all, today we're going to start with our tea, and we're going to do peppermint tea. Peppermint tea relaxes you, it calms the stomach, and this is if it agrees with your doctor and your system. You can put a little bit of honey if you'd like, because you never use regular sugar with herbal teas. You must use honey if you have a taste for it to be a little bit sweeter. But if you are diabetic and if it doesn't agree with you, make sure you consult your physician if it doesn't agree with him or your system. So today I have chose to talk about the most honorable President Obama on the issue that he talked about concerning gays, about his birth certificate, and about Miss Obama buying a $500 pair of tennis shoes. Now, first of all, we're going to speak about Miss Obama's tennis shoes. In Ephesians chapter 6, starting at verse 10 through 18, you can read what the Lord tells you that we need to have in this day of where we are not fighting what we see, we are fighting the spirit world. So she needs to have comfortable shoes. And to my recollection, Mrs. Obama had a $250,000 to $300,000 job before she came to the White House. So if she wants a pair of $500 shoes, excuse me, this tea is good, and buy cheap dresses, well, I think that's her prerogative. Now, the actual place where it says comfortable shoe is Ephesians Ephesians chapter 6, verse 15. And whenever I give you something, and these scriptures that I'm going to give you today, always read them out of the Living Bible, not the New Living Bible, not the New International Living Bible, but the one that just says living, so that we will be on the same page. And then when you're ready, then you can go to the other versions and read it. And I want to let you know, oh, this tea is good. I want to let you know that when you read or pray and you don't understand what you're reading and praying, you are just reading and praying in vain. So I would suggest that you try to find a living Bible. Now, we talked a little bit about Miss Obama's shoes. So maybe that'll settle what's going on. Because there's so many things going on here that could be mundane or petty or whatever you want to call it. We need to really see what's going on. So we hope we can put these three topics to rest, so we can see what is going on in our country. Well, my country, because you may not think this is your country, I really don't know. But as far as the birth certificate, the original birth certificate is the one that the mother received when she got out of the hospital, that has the footprints of the baby and the thumbprints of the mother. Okay, now we're through with that. Now, on two people of the same sex marrying, well, These are the scriptures in the Bible that tells you everything concerning homosexuality. Now that doesn't mean that I agree or disagree. And it's not important whether I agree or disagree, because no one can put you in heaven or hell if you believe in heaven and hell but God. You can't even do that. God has the final say. Now, the first scriptures on homosexuality, Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 1 and 2. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 17 and 18. The reason that it is best not to just take a verse is because it may not say what it's saying, what comes before that verse and what's after that verse. So I teach my students to read the Bible in chapters so that you can get the whole picture. Then if you want the entire whole picture, you would read the book that chapter came out of. For instance, the book of James. Well, the book of James, once you master that entire book and understand it, you have a degree in sociology. Once you master and understand the book of Revelation, you have a degree in psychology. Once you master and understand the book of Romans, you will have a degree in government. So let's continue on with the other scriptures where you can read what has been said in the Old and New Testament concerning homosexuality. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 19 through 30. 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verse 2. Romans, the 1st chapter, verse 26 and 27. Romans, the 1st chapter, verse 24 through 32. And remember, this is out of the Living Bible, not the New Living and not the New International Living. Then you can go over to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and read verses 9 and 10. Then you can go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and read verses 11 through 20. You go over to the book of Jude, which is the 1st chapter and the 7th verse. Then you go to 1st chapter of Jude and read verses 8 through 25. Then we'll go back over to Leviticus, verse 20, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. And then you can go back to Leviticus chapter 20 and read verses 1 through 27. Now this you have to study with an open heart and an open mind. And you have to read it in the order that I gave it to you. Then you ponder and think over what you may agree with and may not agree with. We need to go over to Genesis chapter 18. Then 1 Timothy, the 1st chapter, verse 11. Then 1 Timothy, the 1st chapter, verses 1 through 20th. And last but not least, we have Romans, the 1st chapter, verse 26 through 32. Then we have Romans, the 1st chapter, verses 1 through 32. Both of those books of Romans will tell you if it was 2 men that started sleeping together first, or if it was 2 women. Oh, you're going to be surprised on this one. It actually says it was 2 women. But as you know, the mother is the first teacher of the child. Now, we have to be fair with this. Those that believe in homosexuality, their scriptures to back it up is Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 through 17. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verses 1 through 3. I hope you're enjoying your tea. Then we have 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 17, and Matthew chapter 19, verse 12. And on this video blog, we will have all four sides to the story. I know they teach you it's only two sides to a story, but that's not true. We have two people here. This person tells their side, then this person tells their side, then we have the side that this person didn't tell and the side that this person didn't tell. So we put all of that together and we get four sides. So I thank you very much, and God bless, and no offense to anyone out here. We just need the facts, and everybody reads and see what conclusion they come to. And my motto is truth cannot be found until the lie is recognized. God bless you. We're going to end this little tea talk today with my favorite gospel singer, Miss Dottie Peoples. Take your burdens. Thank you, Miss Dottie. Take your burden.
To the Lord and leave them there.
I want you to remember as we're closing, there was a gentleman that was the CEO of the Pentagon, Honorable Rumsfeld, once said the truth has to be hid with many lies. I say that could be true according to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. To everything there is a season. And I'm leaving you with Psalms 101. It answers what I personally feel about the subject that we talked about over tea today. One of my favorite gospel songs, as I told you, is the one we're talking about and hearing now from Miss Dottie Peoples. And remember that Psalms, my personal Psalms is Psalms 101. God bless you, and if it's God's will, you'll listen again.